Can somebody please explain this Untucked movement? I'm confusion. I'm not getting it.
Got the right bitch, no lefty. Walking my truth, don't fuck with my step team. Crawl for you, walk, run it. Catch me, got a sharp tongue, spit it, machete.
Can somebody please explain this Untucked movement? I'm confusion. I'm not getting it. It makes none of the sense to me. So I gather that this whole Untucked bulging beauty movement is a non-binary gender fuck thing, right? And honey, y'all do y'all thing. That ain't my ministry. Trans people are not a monolith. I don't get it. I don't understand the point of the gray sweatpants, the camel toes, the camel feet, people exposing their packages unless they try and sell them. And if you advertise and they give it away for free, that's just desperate. Personally, I don't understand the importance of this whole movement, especially right now in today's climate. This doesn't seem to be a conversation amongst binary trans people. This seems to be a thing for non-binary, genderqueer people who are assigned male at birth. And for this reason, we need to make clear distinctions between binary and non-binary trans people for educational purposes and also for public consumption. It is very dangerous for trans girls to be following the lead of somebody who picks and chooses when to present as femme. And one of the biggest differences in our experiences is survival. While the drag queen or the genderqueer may be more concerned about the comfort of their tuck, the trans woman who lives 24/7 being seen and perceived as a woman is going to be more concerned about living to see the next day. The binary trans woman is worried about not being number 11 on the list of trans women taken out by violence this year, and we're only in March. Somebody responded that genitalia doesn't determine transness. Does my resume read that I need trans 101? Genitalia does not determine gender or transness. Me being a visible trans woman who's open and honest about the fact that I don't experience bottom dysphoria and I have no interest in bottom surgery is a testament to that. But me coming on here being meaty mother tuck would be making a spectacle out of myself. Me coming on here dangling in a skirt would be a whole fool. And if you want to be a spectacle, honey, by all means have at it. Androgyny is sexy, but we don't need to hear about your meaty tuck. When we see you, we will see the bulge. Don't act like this is a big social justice issue. If you want to get some attention for a genuine social justice issue that's affecting trans people, then we could talk about Cachet. We could talk about MJ. We could talk about Maria. You could talk about Unique. I guarantee if you tell their stories, it'll get you some attention. But you showing us your nuts and bolts while they trying to criminalize drag for being sexual, I don't think that's the move right now.
But I feel like what they're referring to is something that I've been wanting to talk about for a while now when it comes to people within the non-binary and genderqueer communities. As someone who identifies as non-binary myself, I've noticed that there is a really big disconnect when it comes to exactly how to define non-binariness and genderqueerness, because the definition of it in and of itself is to not be attached to the same binaries that make up genders like, cis men or cis women. It is a complex topic, and I feel like we are slowly but surely moving towards a better definition to help define our culture and protect our people. But something I've noticed that's been happening kind of in between the lines is that a lot of people within the genderqueer and non-binary communities are people who have privilege that they're not fully aware of, or privilege that they're actually insecure about. And so because of that, they start to find ways to oppress themselves so that they can be centered in the same conversation that really has nothing to do with them. So for example, I've known a lot of privileged white people who identify as non-binary who, to them, their non-binariness is defined by the liberation within their body. So that means like not showering, choosing not to shave, choosing not to tuck and to, want to be femme presenting or, identify as such, but then, have their balls hanging out, which to each their own. The whole point of being non-binary is to express yourself the way you want to express yourself. But what the lady in the other video was saying was that it does have consequences on people around us, because when you make it about something like hygiene or the way you choose to wear your body, it kind of makes it, materialistic is not the word, but it kind of makes it something that is superficial. Superficial is the word. And if you're someone who cannot see outside your privilege, or cannot see the people within your community that face more oppression than you do for things that you may not experience, is a blind spot. And I don't necessarily have a way to resolve or end this conversation, but I did want to open up this topic because it's something that I see a lot. And like I said, I've noticed this amongst the more privileged groups of people within the community, you know, and I think that's just a result of that. People, for some reason, hate sharing the spotlight or like giving attention to others, and just want to center themselves. And I feel like that's really the problem. Instead of trying to fix the issues that we have, people just want to be the center of attention.